too, because again, you're going to provide that leash against the anti-mage, which he doesn't really like. It gives an extra layer of lockdown for the Ember Spirit as well, and even Darkseer just with the Surge, right? But the main thing is that I like about this Darkseer is that A, Irvin loves to play it, and B, it's... Piggy Killer have a very committal lineup, right? Like, if you're popping Exorcism, you're in. If you're Slardar, you need to go in to do any damage. Same sort of thing with the Slark. So I feel like they're going to get some good value out of these vacuums. You got a preferred team?
Not really.
To me, this isn't one of these series that I'm just going to see the two teams and then pick which team is quote-unquote better. You know, I'm going to base it on the draft. And honestly, these drafts both have their strengths and weaknesses, right? So it really just does feel like... the one that needs to get a whole lot more aggressive is Piggy Killer, right? Like, anti-mage... They don't have any tower takers on Bright. It's just about protecting what they've got. So I feel like Bright are going to be playing... Like, yes, it's important for them to get on the front foot somewhat to be able to slow down these heroes that are going to start running at them pretty shortly. But they're also pretty good in terms of just being able to, you know, plant their flag, play around their towers, and make sure anti-mage retains this space for farm.
Okay. Is there any kind of early items that we might need to see built, though, for Team Bright to help with that tower retention?
I don't think it's necessarily items, right? It's just... I mean, Force Stuff is great this game, though, right? You just want to stay away from the Slardar, you want to break the Slark leash, you want to enable your more elusive heroes, especially the Ember and the Anti-Mage, to want to join into these fights. Also like the fact that Ava's going into a Wraith Band first up. Anything just to increase that attack speed is going to feel great against the Anti-Mage, especially with how much you're wanting to brawl. I mean, even just look at the item build, right? He's going into the Mask of Madness as well. He is basically acting as another form of lockdown, not just damage.
Very interesting.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I don't hate it as well. My only concern is just like, how is the hero currently? Because we have not seen it for quite some time, and it definitely does have weaknesses where you have a lot of difficulties with keeping up in farm. Like, if you do not have a good lane, your capability to be able to catch up inside the jungle is pretty much a non-existent. So I was a big fan back in the day of Faith Beyond's Midas build. It was a little bit more in the greedy route, but kind of helped a lot of his issues with his farm. You get value out of the attack speed, and he's honestly a hero that does great with experience. But
I wouldn't hate to see it this game. I mean, again, he's got a Wraith Band, he's got Power Treads, he's already got the Gloves of Haste coming out to him. So it's clear he just wants to right-click, and he wants to be able to scale bottom lane. This is that level 2 I was talking about.
First, he's in some trouble. Should be able to duck into the tree line. Meanwhile, Ava going to look to try and stand his ground and man fight hard. Ava's not really winning at the moment, though. He doesn't have support nearby. I mean, Frisch shuts out a glimpse, but that will do nothing as Hart stands his ground, continues to get the right clicks out. Now Undying as well. He should be able to get his own solo kill. So the Snapfire gets a free level off the back of that and can look to try and reset his resources as well, thanks to the deny. So what a great start to this bottom lane now for Team Bright.
Yeah, for sure. I think he was just a little bit preemptive with the go there on Ava. He didn't have the Gloves of Haste finished yet. He's got the Wraith Band recipe coming out to him now. Got to be careful still, though, on the Snapfire. Can't just TP into the lane under vision because Frisk, he's got that Glimpse leveled up. So it'd be horrible just to leave this Anti-Mage on his own. But now they're level 3, so they've got even more of this burst damage. You could see the early point into the counter spell as well on Heart. This is one of the things that Disruptor hates playing up against. Your real only defensive tool against an Anti-Mage is that Glimpse. So even just a single point in that is going to be able to stop you.
I guess the one silver lining for them down bottom is just the fact they have the Creep Wave in a really good position. So it will still be a bit awkward for the Anti-Mage to be able to find his farm. And for Slardars, like your power spike in the lane is every odd level. Importantly, when you get the bash to the deep, higher spike, so that's really what we're going to be looking for down bottom. But top lane, looking like a pretty good start. Nothing too crazy at the moment. They did make a go onto Irving just before with the Tombstone, but Irving was able to get out of danger. And we see the Darks here as well. He's gone Boots and the Windlace to start with his gold. So looking to put a lot of priority on trying to kite the Stark. He will have some issues though, Pounce. I mean, it gets a lot of the effectiveness out of the Surge, but Imitator, he can act as a deterrent to make sure they won't continue to pursue the Darks here.
Yeah, he got a little bit greedy, sees the courier, instantly wants to go for the snipe, but he's going to get his clarity cancelled instead. Flyfly might actually be the one in a bit of concern, but Irving, he's able to back off.
It was a great harass coming out from Imitator. He chucked him back on top of the Creep Wave that already had an Iron Shell on it as well. So they got the full Creep Wave damage plus the double shell. It was a great amount of harassment onto Flyfly, who we see kind of, what's he got coming on the courier? He's got another set of tankers. Okay, so at least he does have some more regen coming shortly.
I'm actually most impressed with how much farm Phoenix has got in this mid lane. Like, he is top of the net worth right now against a Death Prophet. That is not something that you expect. He's been able to avoid a lot of these denies from the Death Prophet. She's only got the 3 so far, so he's been doing a good job to make sure that she hasn't been able to just completely zone him out.
Is that really the big thing here with the Death Prophet into the Ember matchup? Is that it's Evo once again not going to be able to win the man fight. I mean, we see what this anti-mage is able to do. The early Wraithband protecting him, and now they're even going to jump over the top for Friss. Won't be able to have the finishing blow simultaneously. We even see outside, it was just a deny to the T2 tower, actually.
They're doing well down on this bottom side, aren't they? You know, again, you talked about power spikes for the for the Slardar, but Snapfire kind of feels very similar, although he has got a single point in the little Shredder, so the Slardar has healthy enough armor to play with, especially with that Wraithband, but if Disruptor ever gets gone on, you are just brought down to negative armor and you're going to get melted.
Mid lane. Even get the toss back with the chains onto the tower, so outside he's going to be killed off as well, and they'll get the bounty for that. Oh boy, what a start for Team Bright.
Yep. This is like they might have lost that game 1 against iG.Vitality, but I've been really impressed by this team in both the closed qualifier games as well as the ones that we've seen them play thus far. XM has to be a little careful about just going into this power rune, and I mean, look at how much they're looking to protect this Ember. They realize he's off to a great start, and he's going to be enabled by a haste rune as well. Real question is, can they look to make anything happen with that? We can see Imitator making the move back up towards the top side. He's going to snag the enemy bounty rune and start to close in towards the Slark, but I mean, you got to get a kill on him before he's level 6, and he's so close that you would have to push the wave out first. So I think Slark's going to be just fine. Might look to make a play down bottom as well on that Ember once he is clearing this one out, because Slardar doesn't have the same level of defensive capabilities, and of course, Heart's just been crushing this lane so far.
The Vanguard, it seems pretty much guaranteed that he's going to be able to continue to have a good time. He was considering about going Ring of Health into the Treads, but I really like that he's gone the Vanguard. It just seems like it's going to heavily affect a lot of the damage that Ava can output, but
I mean, they're positioning themselves around him, but I mean, this is a tanky boy. I don't think you could afford to do this. It's just a level 3 on the Disruptor as well, so I wonder if they're counting the amount of damage that Thunderstrike is doing. That would reveal the level of the Glimpse, and still just level 1, very short range.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Lane just outside looking to TP back in. Thought we'll run into both Irving and Imitator. It'll be fine though. Flyfly wants to try and get involved as well. We continue to see how aggressive the Slark's looking to play in the lane.
Is slowing him. Oh, I'll get away.
Well, mid lane now though. Imitator once again is looking for the toss back under the tower. Phoenix going to be able to hold the Death Prophet down thanks to the chains, but XM, he's okay for the moment. Has some Spirit Siphon charges to work with along with a Fairy Fire, so it's not going to be easy to secure the kill onto XM. And as a result, he's going to be able to scurry on away. He does get a lot of damage onto the tier 1 with that first Exo.
He does. Still though, Risk was just level 1. I think maybe he would have been able to get that kill onto the Tiny if he had that level 2 on the Glimpse instead. Phoenix not going to be able to get the bottom rune, and I mean, that's something that a Death Prophet absolutely loves to be able to play around an Arcane rune. It's a little bit short on the Remnant activate.
Might just turn it back onto Imitator. Maybe XM that's rewarded, but the kill had to pop the Arcane rune as well inside the middle of the team fight. It looks like we've got a top lane. Flyfly should be able to find a solo kill Irving. Trying to juke and jive Flyfly though with the damage from the Dark Pack. He might go down, however. So a nice exchange of lives as the Darkseid was just able to pick up the experience required for the level 6.
He's able to keep last hitting as well with his wall illusion. Outside doesn't seem to have recognized just yet. Might be at the very end minute, but I think he's got every single last hit in this lane, so nicely done.
Bottom lane as well, Ava. Looking on forward, even tossing Snapfire over towards the Slaughter. Quick and easy kill, I believe. No, Ava able to slither on away. Doesn't have enough mana for the TP though, and it looks like they're able to scout this out as well. Undying glimpse scan as well. Which way did he go? Left or top? He was going to try and juke through. He's got a Quelling Blade to work with. They're going to scout him out.
I think just leaving Anti-Mage space to farm, like you're honestly kind of happy if he just sticks around here, right? You can see he's morphed the, or changed the treads into int just so that he can get back to base a little bit faster, but that almost feels as good as a kill, doesn't it? Heart just able to completely farm unopposed on this bottom side, push the wave into a tower, and it's a pretty juicy one as well.
Meanwhile, top lane, they're going to get another kill. So we already saw Fly be able to bring down the Darkseid. Now Imitator's going to be in some trouble as well. So Fly up to 3 permanent agility. Do they consider Undying? Glimpse, of course, was just used, so no way to be able to drag back the Snapfire, but Fly is off to a wonderful start here.
Level 8 in the side lane at 10 minutes is pretty incredible.
I mean, they did a mid lane, XM. Yeah, Exo committed. And with that, they should be able to bring down Undyne and the tower as well. Radiant, they are starting to come over to mount a defense as Irving, the wall, X on to 3, the vacuum as well to hold them into place. It's going to be chaotic for Guy to be able to turn this back around, but it looks like they haven't lost too many members just yet. A remnant on over the top as they've got the damage thanks to the wall illusion. So in the end, it's actually Irving that gets rewarded with the double kill, but still, I feel like you're pretty happy with that for Piggy Killer. It's a 2 for 2, and you get the tier 1 tower mid as well. So XM, you were just saying before, Denog, when we were kind of maybe 5 minutes into the game, that you were surprised that Phoenix was having such a good start. But you take a look at the net worth now, it's about 700 gold behind this Death Prophet.
Just before that fight, though, they were dead even. So I'm still looking pretty impressed with the Ember Spirit. Again, the lineup doesn't have anything to be able to push towers outside of this anti-mage or like a massively won team fight. So the fact that you're forcing, like, you know that you need to keep this space to farm on the anti-mage, right? I said that from the very beginning. So if you don't enable the enemy team to play around their siege creeps by forcing an exorcism around yours, then that's going to be a big win. You're going to get these positive trades in your favor.
Well, Radiant, it looks like they know it's go time. Exo on cooldown, daytime as well. The Slark, a little bit of trouble. That's going to be chilling for the moment. Do you feel like Piggy Killers have the potential to defend this T1 tower if Team Bright want to go for it?
Yeah, I think they want an alternative pick off. XM would be fantastic, of course, because he is their tempo for now. He's going to show in that mid lane, so they might get a little bit of a back jump here. Frisk, good position.
Okay, that's the Static Storm could be really key to turn this fight back around. It's going to stop the combo out of the Tiny, which actually might be enough to keep XM alive. That Tiny being able to get that full combination out, it looks like XM, he's going to be healthy enough to walk away. That was a pretty heavy commitment as well for Team Bright. Mortimer Kisses along with the Wall of Replica used in that attempt.
Which means that they're not going to have it for what? The next exorcism coming in just 15 seconds. So XM looking to make sure that he doesn't hinder his farm. He's going to farm on the way towards that next objective, and it's alongside the Slardar as well. So Mech's going to be about to come up. Almost has enough for the Guardian Greaves as well. Of course, it is very important to give Ava this little bit of farm considering how the lane went, but he's got that Mask of Madness. He's got, I believe, a full magic wand finished up now as well. Oh, even a broom handle. So just going to be even easier for him to stay locked in onto one of these elusive targets.
They're coming bottom.
They are, but
let's see if they're going to be able to take the fight, Hart. A really aggressive jump into the middle. He's in a lot of trouble. Cookie to help him reposition, but it's not going to matter. Hart goes down in exchange. They're going to be able to find the kill onto the support, but with the outside showing up, they need a way to address the tombstone. Undyne should be able to do it, but it's going to come at the cost of his own life. It will help the rest of Team Bright be able to reset the positioning, but with Fly in the neighborhood, he's going to try and cut off the retreat. forced to pop a very early Shadow Dance to stop some of the combo from the Tiny, but now that it's on cooldown, Fly, he might have a window to go back into the middle, but he's going to be cautious still. With the burst damage coming through for the boys on Team Bright, they will successfully defend this tier 1 tower.
That's a big defense. Everyone showed up to that bottom fight. The entire recap just littered with ability icons. But again, the fact that they were able to defend that, yes, Hart had to give up his life for it, but it's because they didn't have the wall to play around with. It's because they didn't have the Mortimer's Kisses, and, well, they barely took any damage into that tower. So, yeah, the AM might die, but he's still going to have this extra area of the map to be able to farm because he knows Piggy Killer are going to be prioritized around that bottom tower instead of him.
Yeah, and even with that death for the Anti-Mage, we still see how farmed he is and can even disassemble the Vanguard if he wants to even faster timing out of the Battle Fury with that Ring of Health to be used for it. So he's looking on par for quite a decent Battle Fury timing here in our game 1.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's going to go all out damage. To me, yeah, he's just going to buy the broadsword first instead of any kind of like Ring of Health, yada, yada, yada. I think this is going to be the time where they might be able to let the bottom tower go, although Imitator might get away. Okay.
And top lane as well. Looks like the Darkseer is going to be in some trouble. The glimpse back into the Static Storm with the Anti-Mage.
Bash.
Not going to try and poke him prod, but he's going to be cautious. Bash is out, but Ava doesn't have the attack speed to continue to hold him into place. And meanwhile, they actually feel strong enough to turn it back onto XM with the Greaves still on cooldown for a couple of seconds. That's going to cost him his own life, and now Frisk as well. Looking to try and chase down the Disruptor into the tree line. He goes, but there will be no escape. As Team Bright, again, they lose Irving, but it looks like it is a worthwhile sacrifice as they'll find 2 kills and the tower now.
Yeah, my man got a little bit greedy there. XM just turning around and wanting to get siphons off and all this. He had a haste rune. He could have very easily just looked to run away from that Mortimer's Kisses, from the Anti-Mage. Ember Spirit had used a lot of his remnants at that time. They've regenerated now, but yeah, just a quick mistake. I mean, they do lose the bottom tower, but I think you're very happy as long as you get top in exchange. So they're playing 1 tower down, but I would still say that Team Bright are relatively happy with how things have gone for this first little bit.
And again, with the Anti-Mage getting involved, you see now he has his Battle Fury completed. So top of the net worth. Firefly is very close though on the stock, even with those 2 deaths that he's playing with currently inside the river. Undying, can he get the cookie up? Not going to be the case. Nice call for Ava to be involved in. Of course, important for him to be able to get a little bit of gold and experience, considering how close he is to that Blink Dagger. But, I mean, being 16 minutes in Dunnogan, we don't really have too many winners and losers currently. Do we feel like... Yeah, I saw Imitator.
The Doubler's toy. I mean, sorry, go ahead and ask your question, because I have a point I want to raise after that.
I was going to say, do you feel like there's any like big winners or losers currently at the time that we're in?
Feels pretty even, to be honest. Like, if I was just looking at the map state and how much farm Anti-Mage has, I would be like, all right, Team Bright are way ahead. But with the amount of farm that Flyfly's been able to get, I think that really does, you know, tip the scales back the other way a little bit. So I'm saying it's pretty even right now. And I like the fact that Flyfly is going for the Shadow Blade, because it really does look to solve one of those weaknesses that I was talking about in the fact that they need to full-on commit a lot of the time. So if you're able to use that Shadow Blade to be able to find a quick pick-off and turn the team fight in your favor, that's going to be really advantageous.
Smoke could be perfect from Piggy Killer to be on that high ground before Imitator gets there. Outside's only got 1 point in the Tombstone though, so not too high the level. And meanwhile off to the left, Ava, he's going to look to try and reveal the Blink Dagger. Going to show straight to Irving they go, but still he's going to be able to get the abilities off. Irving could help turn the team fight around, but Piggy Killer, no one's died just yet. The Static Storm protecting them away from the Mana Void, and now Phoenix, they got the silence. Oh, XM was perfect with the silence coming just before Phoenix was able to activate the Remnant, and as a result, XM finds a triple kill, and Piggy Killers lose no one as well. They were so close to multiple members going down.
They were indeed. I mean, it was a little bit too deep of a commitment, right? You saw the Tombstone get dropped. You saw the Flesh Golem. This is like Piggy Killer saying, we want to fight right now. And they just didn't back off. That's the big issue. They even had pretty good vision all throughout that fight with the ward that Imitator was able to put behind them inside of the Dire Jungle right next to the outpost. So a little bit surprising that they chose to continue to commit onto that, but Well, see what happens when you make these small mistakes. Piggy Killer will make you pay.
And this next minute 30 is going to be pretty scary as well now with that Shadow Blade completed and still a little bit of nighttime. So maybe they're hesitant with Static Storm on cooldown and Exo on cooldown as well. But we'll see what Fly can do by himself though.
How good was that static by Frisk as well? Interrupted the Mana Void, made sure that you retained the Slardar's life as well as the Undying's.
And he's pretty farmed. For being 1, 5, and 10, he just hit the level 10 mark, highest XP out of the supports. And we already see one component as well towards the Scepter.
They're still walking around underneath this vision though. Outside has a Sentry Ward available, but doesn't seem like they think that they've had a chance to be able to place it this deep inside of their jungle, so... What are they going to have? What close item are they? Irving's actually going for a Blink Dagger. Okay. Really just wanting that real gotcha surprise. It should link up relatively well with Imitators. So if you're able to avoid, again, the Greaves, the Spirit Siphons from coming out, it's going to put you in really good stead.
Fly. He jumped straight on top of where the Stark was currently positioned. And Friska's XM, they're soon to be able to connect as well. So there's the Static Storm. With Irving nearby, might be able to repair the damage, but not enough as Ava's in with the combo. They're still going to be cautious about the Mortimer Kisses. Is there going to be any follow-up damage so to help bring down some of the members? And, well, that's where Phoenix is able to come into play. So currently a 2-for-1 with XM. He wants to get involved as well with the Arcane Rune. He's more than happy with committing the Exorcism. He'll be able to get the kill without really the Death Prophet. Unfortunately, there's no creeps nearby to be able to get some objectives off the back of that skirmish.
They're going to Roche?
Ooh, I get. What are they got in Corrosive? But it's level 2 and a DD. All right.
This should reveal pretty quickly what they're doing. He hits one creep once in the mid lane and then beelines it towards where that Roche pit is. Still on the intreads on Ava, but they should be able to take this one pretty quickly unless you get an amazing back avalanche combo. You might just find the Disruptor, but Roshan's dying too quick.
They gave it to Ava, okay. Well, maybe they feel like XM's unkillable. At BKB coming very shortly for the Death Prophet, so with that item, definitely feeling like he's going to be a difficult man to bring down. And look at Ava's position, the net worth as well. Kind of impressed with his performance so far, even though he had a really, really rough reign on the slot. Oh, sorry, on the starter.
Mm-hmm. Probably wasn't expecting it as well. As I wonder if this is even just going to be a bit more of a Chains Misses, like a farming Aegis for the Slardar. Like, it's very important for him to get into a BKB of his own so that he really just doesn't care about any of these saving things. Like, he's going to full-on commit. Blink, stun, BKB, and then there's absolutely nothing that you can do to stop him. They're still lacking in... Oh, that's a deep dive.
It is. And they're going to be able to get the toss before the glimpse away. Ava, though, not going to matter. So he'll going to make it back to safety. Meanwhile, Imitator will not have the same fate. So easy kill for them to find. They do see Fly farming by himself across the map. I wonder if there's going to be anything they can do about it for Bright.
I don't see it anymore.
They're going and up. Piggy Killer, they're coming. A 3-man smoke from them. Fly would love to steal the haste rune. And with the remnant over the top of the Dire members, they're going to be able to pop the smoke as well. So still does look like Undying's going to be caught out. Do you want to go this deep though? Under a tier 2 tower, they might be able to penalize him. But it looks like it's just Irving nearby to see them away. So that is well used, and still they'll get the kill onto Undying.
The power of the Aegis and the Shadow Dance, right? I feel like any other hero... DP probably could have gone for the dive as well, just because of how farmed XM is. And look at him just going into that plate mail next, realizing the importance of his own survivability. I really wouldn't hate to see him just stop after the plate mail and go for the Scythe of Vice, just because of how much utility it's going to provide. Again, you are still playing against slippery heroes. Yes, you've got some answers to it, but more never hurts. But this really feels like a big timing for them, doesn't it? They've just got Blink Dagger on the Tiny. You've got it on the Darkseer. You can look to shove out the lane with the Ion Shells on this top side. But then you've got to go try and make a play. You can't be getting picked off like Phoenix was potentially about to, but I'm sure he himself wants a BKB for himself.
pretty close to it.
Manta as well. I want to see the
So
support. If he's going to just farm this next little bit, he needs the supports playing on top of him, especially if there's supports with that fresh big item picked up. I really don't feel like Imitator needs to be farming a neutral camp right now. It's much more important just to secure Ember's life.
Yeah. And once he gets his BKB, who do we feel like he needs to be jumping on top of in the middle of the fights?
Sorry, I'm just looking at Imitator. They ping him underneath the wards, so he should know that he probably isn't safe to be able to play around this here for the next little bit. He'll take the DD rune, but I really don't feel like that's gonna be worth it.
All right, maybe it's worth it.
Oh, maybe it is.
Look at the bait. You'll get the Aegis. Looks like they don't have the damage for outside though with the Glimmer Cape. Enough to keep him alive for the moment. And this has given plenty of time for Dire to start to rotate their forces to the team fight if it continues to break out as Fly will be able to run into Undyne, having some issues with the juking that we're seeing out of the Snapfire currently, but finally, once Fly is able to lock onto his target, he'll get some more essence. Ava's already looking for the +1 as well. I think they did spot out Heart, or maybe not.
He's just looking to try and get as far away to the other side of the map as possible. They want to use this timing to be able to push in and get some tier 2s if possible. But again, there's that Shadow Blade looking to get in on top of the anti-mage. Not able to dispel it even with the Manta style.
You get a range of the glimpse. Dodges it. Oh, beautifully done.
One more pounce.
Just wasn't able to cover him fully, but Fly, one more pounce, not enough. They got the vision of the courier, but it will not matter. So nice attempt nonetheless from outside with his micro, but the anti-mage will just narrowly escape.
I almost wonder if he's going to go like... I know it's not really the most conventional item progression, but Slark going like Aghanim Shard and a Diffusal Blade, I really wouldn't hate to see, because he hit him enough times there that Anti-Mage would have been completely drained of mana if you just are able to stay locked in onto him, and doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get into a BKB anytime soon.
On mid lane, they're looking to gear up once again. Exo's still not at the ready if a big fight does break out, but Firefly to try and find these extra... Yeah, he will be scouted out though.
I mean, he would have seen.
Yep. The nighttime vision, so they see Imitator. The long glimpse back into Firefly's pounce, so once again, more permanent agi. Well, Ava as well, he's caught Undyne. Protected with the BKB, can look to turn over towards the Ember. Can they get the chain control out of the bashes? Ava very close to another round of it. Phoenix will just be okay. So we're going to be cautious though. They've got the vision, they'll get the glimpse back. Phoenix, can he dodge it? Great timing. Static Storm's going to be completely wasted there.
I do like the fact that Heart chooses that time to be able to continue to split push on the bottom side of the map, but it still does feel to me like he's taking a little bit too much time to do so. You know, the first two heroes there died and nearly the Ember Spirit while he was just sitting in the trees to the side of the tier 1 tower. I know it's important to prioritize yourself as the position 1 carry, but it really doesn't feel like they're getting exchanges here on Team Bright. Piggy Killer are just slowly bleeding them out. And of course, we know how important it is for Anti-Mage to sustain some sort of map, because eventually there's just going to be nowhere else for the rest of your team to go. You're still going to get farmed, but you can't 1v5 this.
XM farms is they might be able to catch up to the Death Prophet. They saw multiple heroes across the map.
They should see the creeps following him. Oh, no, he guessed.
The smoke, unfortunately, going to waste here for Team Bright, and this is given an opportunity for Piggy Killer to be able to get the other lanes in. Fly shove the bottom wave all the way to the remnants of that tier 2 tower. Mid lane's in a pretty great position as well for Piggy Killer to look to make a play in. And the net worth lead, it's up to 10,000. So yes, you have the anti-mage on top, but is this really a game where we feel like AM can 5v1?
No.
Fly should be able to get the kill onto Undyne. Really nicely done to protect their Observer Ward. And now Phoenix, he too might be in some trouble, but he's already got a remnant out of the map.
I mean, the state of the game is that Frisk on this Disruptor is closing in on the third component of his Aghanims as well. So, you know, even if you get a BKB eventually, it's not going to be able to save you.
That's always going to help out too. They just double D-warded inside Radiant's own triangle, so all of a sudden, Bright, they've got zero vision on the map.
Mm-hmm. Holding on to a lot of money is Fly, and, well, he's also got a gem, so who needs sentry wards if you're just able to completely take away... Have a quick look at what the Radiant side of the vision looks like right now. It is bleak. So they're forced to all rotate back. They know that this rotation back has happened because they just have nowhere to be able to play around. And they're going to go for a smoke. So it's very important that it connects onto someone. But what Piggy Killer could do is they could just split up and farm. One person might die, but again, they've got a BKB, they've got Greaves, they've got Slark with all of his defensive abilities. So they're just going to continue to extend their net worth lead while Team Bright, they're just going to go on a wild goose chase. Happy enough just to secure an outpost for now, but again, what have they just picked up on the anti-mage? Basher. Okay. They really just want to blow a target up, I guess. Who is that target? I guess the DP would be the main one. Just getting onto her chain stun before she's able to pop the BKB and some Spirit Siphons. But again, you've got Basher, you've got the Enchanted Quiver, and you've got the Manta. So a lot of ways to very quickly output this damage. It's just going to be off the back of the initiation still, though. And they'll see that that's a freshly applied Ion Shell too. So they know that Darkseid is hanging around, and they're going to back up a little bit. Just play Ranger Vision. Dota, a lot of people say Dota's a complicated game, but it's a game of information. And Frisk, you might get that information.
I'm in a good position to be able to pop the smoke, and Ava, look at the crush onto 4. They're still going to try and turn it around off the back of the wall. Ava's falling pretty goddamn low on the Slaughter, but it's not low enough. They'll find the glimpse, dragging the anti-mage back into the middle. Meanwhile, Phoenix, he's had a pretty free fight, but the Ember Spirit wants nothing to do with it now. Looking to Remnant on out as he sees the rest of the boys are not in fighting shape. So even though it was a great counter initiation out of Irving, it just was not enough for boys on Radiant.
Yeah, and I mean, what a great static storm that you were able to get down there by Frisk. Of course, forced a really early BKB by the Ember Spirit. Of course, Darkseid, Anti-Mage, they don't have theirs yet. Caught Snapfire, so you weren't able to get that Mortimer's Kisses off. It's, again, just the power of playing around that vision that you've got for yourselves. And, well, it's going to get them the second Roshan. It's going to get that Aghanim Shard for the Slark that I was hoping for. He's actually gone into the Bloodthorn instead of the Diffusal, which I really don't hate either. It's just going to enable you to go in onto this Anti-Mage. Of course, he's got the Manta style to play with.
Heart's in a lot of trouble here, man. With all the essence that Fly previously stole. It's not going to be enough, though. Just is able to get away with the Manta coming back up. Regardless, you do put the Anti-Mage back inside the base. You're still 27 of his Agi. And now Fly's continued to hunt. They spy Phoenix top lane. Ava's already at the ready. First stun into the follow-up, and they're already camping the Remnant. Oh, Fly.
Wonder if that's going to be like a ping on the Tinker Ward spot just to say, hey, they knew we had a ward here. But, I mean, Fly is just able to move around that map so fast. Not just with the Shadow Dance, but also the Shadow Blade on top of that.
And now, with all... I mean, Piggy Killer, all they need is 4 Furies currently to control the map. So that means Frisk can farm some of the safe areas. We've got the Scepter now completed out of the Disruptor. And imagine if he had Scepter in that previous team fight. Meanwhile, Irving, hang on. They're diving deep. Fly, he has no issues. Nothing that he needs to be worried about. Still can pounce on over the top. He's got plenty of time to work with the Aegis, so Fly can easily just tear them apart.
They've got Ember coming back up, and you got buyback on the Tiny. Just got to be very careful about how you're playing this. Again, they're just going to put Fly on the front lines. They still haven't used the Exorcism, coming up in 3 seconds, so no Disruptor used. Even a Holy Locket on the Undying as well. So very hard to kill anyone this game. Of course, if they can afford to not use the buyback, they will. Seems like they're still going to lose potentially 1 lane of Rax, or the Glyph slowing things down. I mean, they're trying to force it to play a little bit more scared, but again, outside, just with that Holy Locket, a single Soul Rip does so much.
Potato? Bit too far outside the base, it looks like. Supports have done a great job with their itemization. I mean, you just mentioned the Undying. And his positioning, I think, as well, has been really on point, just in case he's always needed to be able to keep those cores alive. And well, we might see that be the case once again off the back of this smoke if they're able to find some targets. It's now or never now for Bright. What can you do? If you lose this fight, it could just potentially be the game or all of your objectives lost as Phoenix got to be cautious about Avon. Well, he dared the starter to get the stun, and Phoenix, oh, he'll go down. Stuck around for a little bit too long. Had to have known someone was nearby. And Ava, with all the attack speed built up, is even holding the Mindbreaker as well for a little bit of extra bonus attack speed and control, just to help find these bashes and help hold the members into place.
They're going to probably lose a second tier 3 here. Second glyph was used previously, the one that refreshes after the tier 3. And another kill that they're able to just get solo underneath the the outpost. Ava doesn't care. He just wants to get back to the boys, provide that AC aura, and assist with taking away the base.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
See what they can look to do off the back of the buyback here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
We've got, again, a minute 30 left on the Aegis. Fly. Trying to look for the toss into the cookie inside the base, but Fly will activate the Shadow Dance. Fine for the moment. Meanwhile, Ava and Irving trade BKBs, and both of them are just going to look to walk away, but Hart wants to stop him short with the Abyssal Blade. They're lacking the damage at the moment and the control. Ava's able to get out of the base, and now with the Ember. In trouble. Frisk, if he wants to drop the Static Storm, he can, but it's not even required. Fly. The use of the Bloodthorn, and now he's already looking for more as well. But the backline supports are vulnerable. Now, but the Anti-Mage is vulnerable as well. He won't be able to get out of range of the Static Storm, in fact. So AM makes the glimpse back inside, however. And with that extra little bit of control, it looks like he will go down. No buyback for Hart. They got one force out of Phoenix, but what can the Ember do? And it looks like it'll be nothing. As Piggy Killers, they'll find game 1 35 minutes in.
I hate to say this after what a great early game that he had, but that was average anti-mage game contribution.